Today I'm going to be replacing a positive battery cable assembly on a 2008 Honda Odyssey because it's so corroded. Once the 10mm nut is loosened, remove the negative battery cable and move it off to the side where it can't touch because it'll spark and smoke. Okay, so now I'm going to use the 10mm socket to remove the nut on the positive battery cable. Oh, wait. Oh god. This isn't... Am I doing this right? Okay. And there you go. Now we're gonna remove the battery hold down nut with a deep 10mm socket. Okay, now we've removed the battery clamp and the J-hooks at the bottom that were holding it down. We're gonna remove the negative battery wire and take out the entire battery. To remove the positive battery cable, you want to expose this rubber boot and show the nut that will allow us access to the rest of the car. In order to gain access to the 12mm nuts, I had to use a U-joint so I didn't have to remove the coolant hose to gain access with my socket drive. So when you take off the nut, make sure you don't let it drop and have it so it just comes off just enough, because we just dropped it and it took a hella long time to get it out, so be careful. So we're gonna remove this negative, hose cable and push this tab out and pull it up so it comes out just like that. And green tab I have to pull out. So basically the same thing where you move the switch out and then pull it off the blade. And there you go. Cables on here that are almost like zip ties, and you just want to seize the hose and pull them off, just like that. And then you do it for all of them. Oh gosh. I cannot get cables on here that are almost like zip ties, and you just want to seize the hose and pull them off, just like that. And then you do it for all of them. Oh gosh. I cannot get this one off with my hands and it came off easily, but this one is a lot harder and the hose is starting to crumble. So we have a snip tool here and we're gonna just snip the zip tie off, and you have to be careful not to snip the hose itself. So just like this, and then next one, just like that. Then there's another one right down here. I think we can actually pull this one out. Let's try. There we go. It's out like that. Okay, so you want to take these lids off to access the last of the cable's assembly. So pull it off just with these 4 tabs that you can press. And this one, you can also just pull off with these tabs. When I get it. Ugh. What? There you go. One. There we go. Cases are off. I'm going to use an 8mm swivel socket with the extender to reach this nut right here. so. And then just loosen it off. You gotta be very careful because you don't want that thing falling down. I might just do the rest by hand. And right about just pull it out like that. Now I'm gonna take the 8mm off. And I'm going to take the 8mm off and take off the extender cables because it's close enough where you don't have to use extra range. And oh, wait a second. There we go. There we go. You don't want this falling out, so I'm gonna loosen it by hand. Like so. Okay, so now we're gonna take off the cable, finally, and this one too, right here. There we go. Just comes off. It's a bit stuck. Right. Come on. Oh, there's like tape. So there's one last zip tie that you have to pull out in order to take out the entire hose. Pull it out like that, and sometimes you might have to cut it or break it off. So. Okay, so now we're putting the clip back onto the fuse box. Just like this. Then take the bolts. And there you go, that's one. Now we have this clamp right here that you have to push up into this hole right here, and that click signifies that it's in. Now you have the next piece that you slide in, the smaller fuse box, and put in the screw it in. And that's another one down. With the 8mm socket, you want to screw it in a bit more to tighten. So that's good. And then we have one more. You can do both with the short socket. You don't have to use a long extension. There you go, just like that. So now we're putting the caps back on the fuse boxes, just like that. They'll snap into place. And then the smaller one, like this. Come on. There we go. We're putting the zip tie clamps into a hole right up here that we pulled out earlier, and you should hear it just, I guess it's not gonna snap, but it's definitely in there. So that's one. Here's the next. It's just gonna pop in right there. There you go. And we fed these down, so now they're down here, and we can put the battery back in and replace it. I forgot we have a couple more. Clamps that you can just snap in when I get to it. Come on. And I have my 12mm socket here. We put the nut onto where we lost it originally, and you just want to tighten it with the wobble head and all the extensions. We did the coolant hoses right there, and so now it's tight. Oh, the 12mm nut tightened. You want to pull this little flap right here for the boot, and just pull it over the nut so the flap just goes over. Come on. There you go, like so. Okay, so now everything's tightened, fixed up. We're gonna put the battery back. And it just falls into place. Try and keep it as straight as possible. Then you wanna pull your positive cable up so it's ready to be installed. Have this part snap up the negative cable and put it on. Ready for these guys to come on. We're going to clean the terminals, the battery terminals, here, and put it on, and then just twist. There should be a dull finish by the time it's off, and then we'll do it with the negative charge. This. And then, so now we're going to put the cap back on, and the last thing is putting the negative back on the terminal, and this should will be a sparks, but it shouldn't scare you. So there you go, and then tighten it. So that's how you replace a positive battery cable on a 2008 Honda Odyssey. Please like and subscribe if you want to see me do more videos like this, and thanks for watching.